So I've always had kind of a love-hate relationship with the trackpoint. Uh, I've been a user of ThinkPad laptops for like 15, 20 years, and the trackpoint made it possible for me to work while I was on the go in a way that trackpads really didn't. They break my wrists for reasons that I'm not entirely sure about, but I know they do. Um, and I always found like a frustration with having to move to the opposite side of the little trackpoint nub. When I wanted to go in a direction, you move over here to go that way, you move over here to go that way. It just felt a little weird, and I always felt like I had to put a lot of pressure on it in order to get my finger to stick enough so that I could push in the direction I wanted to. And there were two interesting things that have happened to me in that space. So one of them was that I discovered that there are actually concave trackpoint nubs. It's hard to see this very well, but you can get them if you have an older style trackpoint. Nobody seems to manufacture them anymore, although you can, of course, 3D print your own. And that totally changed my interaction. It made it way less forceful, relieved a lot of strain on my fingers, and I really highly recommend that as an approach for anyone who either uses a trackpoint today or is thinking about using one in a custom keyboard build. The other thing that really only occurred to me yesterday was that the trackpoint has been constrained, and all of these like little force devices have been constrained entirely by their use in laptops. The only reason the trackpoint nub is the shape that it is because it has to fit between the keyboard and the screen in your laptop when the laptop is closed. And that's really weird. It turns out that if you have the room to make that stem a little bit longer, you can either get more leverage or you can contour the shape of the trackpoint nub differently so that you can really sit your finger in it in a reasonable way. And if it cups around the finger, then it's much easier to transmit force without straining your hand as much, without having to press down as much. And I think it's a really interesting area. So I'm integrating trackpoints into Svalbard, and we'll see what the results are for other folks. So far, my preliminary tests with rough prototypes, where I've made the little cup that my finger goes into, feel really, really good. And as a last mile solution, if you're using, for example, a gaze tracker to warp the cursor on the screen quickly to get to the general area of what you're going for, and then the track point to refine, it's a super comfortable and super fast solution. So I encourage you to check it out. I will be throwing together a CAD model that you can 3D print on your own. You can do it in PLA, probably be best in TPU, although I haven't even tried that myself. And hopefully we'll get some feedback from the community on how that works out. Thanks.